Hi, it's Dr. Lee, and thank you for watching my little series, Dreams and Visions in Christ. This is part 9, and part 9 name is Bad Diabetic. And I will be reading from Bible verse Zechariah 10:2, and it says, "The idols speak deceitfully, diviners see visions that lie. They tell dreams that are false. They give comfort in vain. Therefore, the people wander like sheep, oppressed for lack of a shepherd." Again, Zechariah 10:2. The idols speak deceitfully. Diviners see visions that lie. They tell dreams that are false. They give comfort in vain. Therefore, the people wander like sheep, oppressed for lack of a shepherd. And before I go into the dream, like I said, this is part 10. And part 10 is called Bad Diabetic. But before I go into it, I would like to say, just reading this Bible verse, it really makes me think that a lot of times you see people or hear stories of people, I guess, prophesying, as we like to say, and telling people stuff that they didn't get from God, full of deceit. So if a person come up to you and telling you that they got a word from the Lord and they got a word from God, and it's more about them, looking good in front of a crowd, or being deep, or being, I don't know, but what people be thinking when they're doing something. I guess people don't really have a true relationship with Christ, with the Lord, so they take it lightly. So watch out for people that's full of deceit, and if somebody's walking in love and God is using that person in whatever capacity, or if God using that person that one time or two times, I don't know how God does everything, because I'm just some dirt too, some clay. So I'm not even, trying to act like I'm just so deep or so smart or so bright. But what I'm saying is, what I do know is that we don't have it all on God. And if someone come to you and acting like they're so deep in what God, they know everything that God is doing and how He's going to do it, you can listen to some people that say, "Oh, I know God," and I'm like, yeah, I bet you do, But what I'm saying is just, the Bible verse here says, "Idols speak deceitfully," and sometimes people tell you things you want to hear, or especially you have to be careful when people start telling you stuff about materialistic stuff, because the dreams and the visions that I have, not saying that I never had a dream or vision about something that's materialistic, but a lot of them, I would say most of them have been, something that will help someone on a spiritual level. It's always turning that person, or telling that person to seek Christ, or grow in faith, and God can work this out. Not saying that God can't give me a dream or vision of somebody getting a car. I heard people say, "Oh, you're gonna get that car and you're gonna get all that money. God got this for you," and God, it's a whole bunch of materialistic things, because that's what people want to hear. Most people care about, I'm not saying most, but most people I come across, how about that? They care about money and materialistic things. So with that, be careful. Be careful of people that's speaking deceit and giving you false stuff. And if no one's doing that, you be careful. If you're the person that's having the dreams or the visions, or if you're not having but you want to have them, be deep, and you just take stuff and mess it up, don't do that. Don't do it either, because if you actually believe that God is real, you will seek His word, read it, and it will just make you want to do the right. The Bible will make you want to do the right thing, because once you start reading the Bible and reading God's word and growing in it, you just like, okay, I want more. Especially as you see it manifest. And I will say this, obedience. Most people, we have a hard time in our flesh walking in obedience. We make up all kind of excuses and everything not to go by God's word. So I always say now here lately, obedience is key. People also, you gotta have faith, you gotta pray, but praying, having faith, and you just disobedient. I mean, like when I read, not reading my Bible, reading the Old Testament, I always hear people say, "Oh, the Old Testament's old." It don't mean it, and think that's the old day. People do things different now, or you hear people say all kinds of stuff. But the biggest thing I have picked up in the Old Testament, like as a whole, is obedience. It seems like when the children of Israelite, when they been obedient, things went better for them. And when they were disobedient, they had a little struggle, tough time. And I'm not saying that we don't have tough times or struggle, but a lot of times I do believe we bring things on ourselves. And I do think that God can use anything in those things that we bring on ourselves to make us, to shape us into the person He wants us to be if we allow Him. So with all that, let me get to the dream. Bad diabetic. It's really short, but I want to just say that to help someone with that. It's just my experience to walk in obedience. So you hear a lot of people preaching a lot of things, but I always ask my husband, why are they saying obedience? Why aren't they pushing obedience? I said, because obedience make the person have to do something. You got to do something. You got to give up something. You got to stop this. You can't make up excuses. Oh, it's just my flesh. Oh, everybody's doing it. Nobody's perfect. Whatever, just, making a way to get out of it easy. So, ask God to show you things that He wants you to change. And believe me, He will show you. So, go into the dream. Bad diabetic is what I call this dream. And in this dream, it was short and to the point. This guy, I know I'm changing his name. In a dream, I can't remember if I saw him or came across him, but I just know I saw the guy, Chris. I'm gonna call him Chris. And in a dream, I can't remember if I had heard a voice or how it exactly happened. But in a dream, I got the information that Chris was a very bad diabetic. So I was like, okay, I know Chris. I don't talk to Chris. But once in a blue moon when I run into Chris, but Chris was very bad diabetic. So of course I woke up and tell my husband, and if you get tired of me saying that, it's the truth. I'm being honest, truthful. And I tell my husband about the dream, and sometimes it's not like I tell him right then. Sometimes I have to wait later that day because if we're not in the same place or it's gone. But I make it my business to tell him the dream because that's the way I do it, and he helps me with that because he listened to it, and so anyhow I had a dream about Chris, and I was like, why would I dream that? It was like one of those clear dreams. I knew who the person was, I knew what it was about, and that was it. Chris is a bad diabetic. But when I woke up from a dream, first thing I thought, well, okay, what I'm noticing with my dreams is when it's a dream that is clear, I see the person, I can contact that person, I can let them know that the dream is like a warning, it's conditional. So if I can get to the person and tell the person, I can minister to the person, just give them some, encouraging words. Tell them what I saw in some cases. Sometimes I'm to the point now I won't even tell you the dream. I just tell you what I believe the interpretation is. You take it to God. I always tell you take it to God. Talk to God and see, And so with Chris, I apologize to Chris because I finally told Chris. But when I had this dream, I was like, oh, okay, Chris is going to tell me off if I tell him that. He's going to say, what in the world? What are you talking about? I didn't know what Chris would say, but I figured it wasn't going to be, he wasn't going to be receptive to it. I mean, I just didn't think it was. But I know, Joe, it took me a long time to tell Chris. I did not have the guts, and that's what God had to work on me with that. When I have dreams or visions, I drag my feet. I drag it. I do all, like, I mean, I'm better now, but I'm saying that in the past, I drag my feet. I don't want to mention it or tell it, or, you know, I'm just like, okay, Lord, I don't, you know, this is you with this, I don't want, you know, just all this doubt, just casting doubt. But with Chris, I kept telling my husband, I was like, I can't get it off my mind. When every time I see Chris, and I would see Chris, but you know, he wouldn't see me. You know how you can see somebody from a distance? You're not close to him, but you can see him in passing, however. And of course, if I saw Chris close, you know, we would talk or speak, but I never saw him up close. But I told my husband, I said, the next time I see Chris, I see Chris, and I'm close enough to get, you know, to him or however, and it's convenient, you know, everything work out. I said that I'm going to tell him. So one day I happened to be, you know, outside, and I saw Chris. And when I saw Chris, my husband saw Chris too. And he looked at me, he said, "There go Chris." He said, "I think you should tell him the dream." So I went up to Chris and I told Chris, the dream. And I'm waiting for him to tell me off or say something, or, you know, reject or whatever, you know. They look at me like, you know, who are you? Why are you telling me that? But, you know, I mean, he knows who I am. I'm saying, like, but who are you, like, you know, to tell me this and that? So when I told him the dream, Chris just looked at me and he said, "You know what?" He said, "My grandmother died as a very bad diabetic." And he said, "My father is a very bad diabetic." He said it's so bad that he has to take shots. And he told me, he said, my real name is Alicia. Dr. Lee comes from Alicia. So he said, Alicia, he told me, he said, "Thank you." He said, "Thank you for telling me." And he said, "I'm going to go get myself checked out." And I told him, I was able to tell him, I said, "You know, the good thing is about this." I said, if God give it to me, what I'm telling with the track record, if he give me the person, he give me, you know, the person, he gives me whatever it is, like, you know, if it's the cancer, like in this case, diabetes, I said, the person can change it. The person is like, God's telling me, it's like, okay, you go tell them that, you know, the person that has no clue, no idea, no name, you know, this person will not know. And so when they hear me say this, they know I don't know anything about what's going on in their personal life. They don't talk to me like that. And I can tell them that God typically, you know, from what I can, what I have learned, that if the person take heed and they walk in faith and, you know, and see God on the matter, and it changes things. And just, you know, I always make sure I stress to see God, because that's what it's all about. You know, these issues and circumstances we have, you know, they overcrowd us, and, you know, they keep our mind, you know, bogged and clogged and all that stuff. But with whatever, not that God don't want us to solve our problem, our issue, or circumstance, but he wants to seek him. So I told Chris that, and to my shock, Chris was like, he said, "Thank you." Not that Chris, you know, Chris is not a bad person. I just didn't think he was going to accept that from me. And so he told me thank you. And I apologized to him. I told him, I said, "I'm apologizing because I know I was supposed to have told you." And I said, and I did go and tell you. I said, I drug my feet. And I said, I said it's been months. And I don't know if it was 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. But every time I would see Chris in passing, the dream would just come all over me. And I didn't go, because I know where Chris lives. I didn't go to where he lives or anything. I just made up excuses and drug my feet. So if God's giving you something, and you know it's from God, first of all, God gonna have you walk in love, and He's gonna have you walk in love, and it's not gonna be anything to correct someone because you so deep and so bright, or to you know, to make you look good. And so that's something I would say, that if you're having dreams of vision, or if you have just one, God using you with that once. I'm not knocking that. If God uses you in any capacity, if it's just one time, be blessed, because God uses who He wants to use. So, but if it's the one time, or if it's 100 million times, just just keep seeking God, seeking His face. Don't add anything to your dreams, your vision. Don't take anything away. And that's, like I said, that's been my experience. When I add something, you're like, okay, and you want to take some away, but don't put yourself in it. I tell people, this is what I saw. This is what, like I said, like I told, Chris, my flesh would want him, like, to make it sound good. Yeah, you had a little diabetes, not too bad. It was light, if you even can have light diabetes, but you know what I'm saying, to make it not sound too bad. That's just the kind of person I don't want to, crush anybody or to make somebody feel bad or worry. So I would try to lessen the blow. But if God tell you bad diabetic, you say bad diabetic. Don't say that. And so, but then after that is clearly God, when the person respond back to you and tell you, my grandmother's bad diabetic, that's how she died. My dad is a bad, and you don't even know these people, So all I'm saying is, whatever it is, if you on the side that you're having the dreams and visions, please don't add anything or take anything away, because some of the smallest things is the most significant thing. And don't add anything, because then it can become a lie. Because you can say, I'm just making up something. You can say, I dreamed of apple, and all you saw was the apple, right? And when you saw that apple, you said, I dreamed about an apple, and I gave it to you, and it was a green apple. And in the dream, all you saw was the apple. You didn't see yourself giving the apple to the person. You didn't see that it was green. So now you start lying, Now you added something to it. But, as I said, for interpretation, you can go to God with that. Because God interprets dreams. And you can pray on it, just like Joseph. Pray on that dream. Ask God to reveal it. And He may reveal it like that. He may reveal it as soon as you wake up. Like some dreams, as soon as you wake up, He may reveal it 2 or 3 months later. A year later. 10 years later. God does what He does, how He does it. So that's all I can say about that. That's all I can say my little knowledge that I have and my little experience. Hopefully it's helping you in some kind of capacity to either grow you if you have dreams and visions. And if you are a person that run to people always trying to give you a word or give you a message, it can help you kind of, learn some of what God is saying, discern people's spirits so they can't put no trash in your system and give you false stuff. So, thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Lee. And as always, I want you to let go, let God, and keep it moving. Thank you for watching.